When you have linear equations with fractions, it can be kind of tricky to solve. This is one of those topics that I find a lot of students might have forgotten some of the techniques that show up here. We're going to work through an example. We have 1/6 equals 4/3 minus x divided by 7. Now there are several different ways of solving problems like this. I'm going to go over what I think is at least the easiest way for me. The tricky part with these is that we've got all these fractions that we have to deal with. And if you can get rid of the fractions, that makes the problem easier. So what I often do with problems like this is the very first step is to get rid of all the fractions. To do that, we need to find the least common multiple of all of the denominators of the fractions. We have a 6, a 3, and a 7. So we need a number that is divisible by 6, 3, and 7, and we then multiply both sides of our equation by that number. So, well, let's see. We know 6 and 3, well, 3 already divides 6, and so we don't have to worry about that. The 6 and the 7, the smallest number that's divisible by both 6 and 7 is going to be 42. And that's divisible by 3 also. So we're going to multiply both sides of this equation by 42. You have to be a little careful here. On the right-hand side, you want to make sure you multiply everything on the right-hand side by 42 and everything on the left-hand side by 42. When you have an equation like this, you can do pretty much whatever you want as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equation. So on the left-hand side, we have 42 times 1 divided by 6. Multiply that together, we just get 7. The right-hand side, we'll have 4/3 times 42 minus x divided by 7 times 42. So multiply this 4/3 times 42. It's usually easier to simplify first before you multiply fractions together. 42 divided by 3 is going to be 14. So this will be 4 times 14 minus x divided by 7 times 42. 42 divided by 7 is just going to be 6. So this is minus 6x. If we multiply the 4 times 14, we get 56. And we end up with 7 is equal to 56 minus 6x. So in this very first step, we managed to clear out all of those fractions there, right? And that's why we did this and multiplied by 42 on both sides of the equation. Makes it quite a bit easier to solve now. You can go through and solve this equation from at the beginning just by getting common denominators, combining fractions. It just takes a little bit longer, I find. To finish up, we subtract 56 from both sides of the equation, and we have negative 49 equals negative 6x. To solve for x, we now divide both sides of the equation by negative 6, and we get for our answer, x is equal to 49 divided by 6. If you wanted to, you could then check that solution by plugging it back into our original equation up here, making sure that we got the correct answer. And so you can always double check your work that way.